Welcome to the Clark Township Planning Board meeting, Thursday, April 6, 2023. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star Ledger, Union County Local Source, Union County Hawk, and Tap into Clark, by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board at Town Hall reserved for such announcements, and by the proper filing of said notice with the Township Clerk. Formal action may be taken at this meeting. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. I'll do roll call. Mayor Bonacorso? Here. Mr. Ulrich? Councilman Minetti?
Here.
Mr. Koch? Here. Mr. Triola?
Here.
Mr. Altman? Mr. Jacobson? Mr. Steinberg?
Here. Mr.
Klee?
Here.
Okay. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the March 2, 2023 meeting? Any questions, comments? If not, I'd like a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion. Second.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. I'd also like a motion to dispense with the reading of correspondence. All correspondence that we have is available at Town Hall for the public to view. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to presentation. Presentation and public hearing on redevelopment study and preliminary investigation report for Block 77, Lot 2, also known as 175 Westfield Avenue, and Lot 4, 181 Westfield Avenue.
Over here on the side, correct? I have it on the screen here. If I wanted to push. I didn't prepare paper handouts, so I can verbally give the presentation otherwise, if that's all right.
That would be fine.
Okay, so we'll push. Well, good evening, everyone. For the record, Paul Rickey, licensed professional planner. We prepared a redevelopment study. It's dated January 30th, 2023. It's for Block 77, Lots 2 and 4. You know them as 175 and, oh, we have it up on the screen over here. Okay. And 181 Westfield Avenue. There is one screen that is projecting. The screen in the back, all screens are now projecting. So maybe I can, is there a way that I can maximize this without closing the screen? Fortunately, I'm a little bit of a Mac guy, but, and I'm going to go through this quickly. We just have a title page here, and I'll go through the findings of the report here. We know Mayor and Council authorized a study. Go Goal here is today is for the planning board to make a finding as to whether all or a portion of the area meets the criteria as an area in need of redevelopment. I think everyone knows the properties. Fronting on Westfield Avenue, across from the Car Smart. On the upper left here, if you can see my hand, that's the Dairy Queen and the Quick Check. Properties are outlined in red. There's an existing office building on the lot on the left, that's lot 4, and lot 2 is a vacant former residential home that's been vacant for over 5 years so now. So, I'm just going to summarize this. I'll be pretty quick. Site tract is, for both lots, it's about 0.5 acres. It's in your downtown DTV district, 2 buildings that I discussed. The office building's about 4,800 square feet, and then on lot 4, and as I said, in lot 2, there's a former residence. There's several criteria that we can designate an area that needed redevelopment. We're looking at 3 criteria here today. Criteria A, essentially when a building becomes into a condition where it's lacking light, air, and space to be unconducive to or unwholesome living and working conditions, right? That's largely criteria A. Criteria D deals with buildings or improvements which by reason of dilapidation, obsolescence, overcrowding, faulty arrangement and design and the like is part of the first prong. And the second prong is that it also has to be detrimental to the community as well. So just because a site has an obsolete layout doesn't meet the criteria, but it also has to be detrimental to the community for its health, moral, safety, and general welfare. So both prongs have to be applied. And then finally, criteria H, which I'm not going to discuss in any detail, deals with smart growth planning issues. And then finally, sites can be included under Section 3 of the law that don't meet any of the local redevelopment housing criteria, but are needed for the effective redevelopment of the area. And as part of this study, it's going to apply to the office building. I'll talk about it more in a moment, but access from the residential drive is on the turn on Westfield Avenue, and that driveway has pulling in and out of there on Westfield Avenue is an unsafe condition. Essentially, by jumping ahead, by joining the 2 properties, it allows for a larger lot, closer to the light, closer to the signalized intersection, with a better line of sight that could help provide access to the site that's remained vacant for 5 years. More so with a use that's conforming to the commercial zone plan of the DTV. You notice that the former residence there is a non-conforming use in that business district. So lot 2, as I said, it's been abandoned. I'll show a few pictures for about 5 years. I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to show you the extent of some of that dilapidation. On the exterior, essentially the building's falling apart. As you can see in the photographs, the roof, it's been abandoned. You see in the upper left, the back building. It's in a severe state of dilapidation. It's an environment where someone could not live today in its current form, so it meets the A criteria. Also, the dilapidation and the fact of its unsafe ingress helps it criteria as well. You can see in the pictures that the home is in an advanced state of disrepair. And I provide some points here, everything from the yard. It's an abandoned site. There's been no work done. It's a detriment to the community in its current form. Attractive nuisance, something that even in a facility like this, I dealt with in another town where police went inside because of squatters in a place and they fell through a building. I'm not sure if this building's in that state of repair, but it does pose that type of attractive nuisance for people to break in to as well. So it's a classic site that meets both the A and D criteria. And what I said about Section 3 for the effective redevelopment of the area, you guys are all residents in town. I'm not sure if anyone pulled into that site before this investigation, but you have limited, as you're pulling out from lot 2, the residential lot, there's limited sight distance in that area. People are whizzing around the turn. I had difficulty pulling out of there myself, and the reason to include the office building, which has some vacancy but is largely occupied and is in good repair, is to allow the consolidation in both of those lots to have access closer to the signalized intersection, like I said. So we recommended that Lot 2 be included as it's needed for the effective redevelopment of the area and to improve safety. So a couple pictures of Lot 2. It's an office building that you're aware of. It's in good repair. Like I said, there's some vacancy, but it's largely occupied. So I kind of went quickly. I didn't go into a high level of detail, but this is a classic case of applying the criteria here. I feel very confident in the findings of the report, and it's one that, at least as documented in the report, that this area meets the A and D for Lot 2, and Lot 4 is needed for the effective redevelopment of the area. So that's my quicker version. If you want more detail, I can provide that. If there's any questions, I can answer those as well.
I think it was a good overview. Anybody on the board have any questions? Comments? Seeing none, I'd like a motion to open the meeting to the public for the remote. Any questions regarding the redevelopment study and preliminary investigation report? Have a motion?
Motion.
Mike, Nate, then Mike. Anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is open to the public. If anyone has questions regarding this testimony and report, please come forward. Seeing no one come forward, I'd like a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on. Resolution for the acceptance of the redevelopment study and preliminary investigation report for plan for Block 77, Lot 2, also known as 175 Westfield Avenue, and Block 77, Lot 4, also known as 181 Westfield Avenue. Have a motion?
Mr. Chair, before you consider a motion to introduce, I would recommend a change to the third whereas clause on page 2. That paragraph speaks to public comment. There was none, as you know, from tonight's hearing, so I would change that whereas clause to say, whereas the board heard no public comments regarding whether the study area should be recommended as an area in need of non-condemnation redevelopment. I would delete the words received comments, but no objections from the property owners, claimants, or public. With that correction, the resolution can be moved, and I will provide these comments to the board secretary so that the final resolution reflects this change.
Before we have a motion, has any other comment or questions on the resolution? Okay. Like a motion to approve the resolution, including council's changes.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you, Nate. Have a roll call.
Mayor Bonaccorso?
Yes.
Councilman Minetti?
Yes.
Mr. Koch?
Yes.
Mr. Triola?
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg?
Yes.
Mr. Klee? Yes. Resolution passed.
Moving on, public session. I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public to come forward, discuss any issues they may have. Okay, already have Lance and Nate first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone from the public would like to come forward and discuss any matters with the board? Please do so. Seeing no one come forward, I'd like to have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Is there any new business to discuss? Any old business? Having none, then our next meeting will be May 4th. Next meetings will be May 4th, June 1st, July 6th. I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you, Nate, for seconding it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.